Welcome to Crew 32 Podcast. Unlike other podcasts, this actual podcast is actually pre-recorded just to present a better type presentation to you guys. And so the first thing we're going to start off is this week's schedule. This week was a lot of good games that went on. One of the games that definitely went down that people will remember is probably the Raiders versus Dolphins game. The reason I give this game so much pump and hype is because Styles, who just came off of, a lot of trash talk and went off of Mo. He was talking about how he beat Mo 2 or 3 times so far, and he was on a roll. He was doing his thing. But Reese came in and beat him 37-19. If you can remember the league before this Crew, Reese's friend Chris, Styles had bragged on beating him. So this week's schedule was a lot of good games that had went down. One of the games that didn't turn out to be a great game, but it actually, lived up to a good chat hype, was the Dolphins versus the Raiders. As you can remember, Styles, who is known for getting on Chris' nerves and saying things to Chris, Styles fell victim to Reese 37-19. Reese's reasoning for doing what he did was because Styles had taunted his friend. But nevertheless, Styles had just came off a win against Mo. He was doing his thing. He had the momentum. He went into Miami and basically got annihilated. This year, we've seen so many blowouts within the last 3 weeks alone. And the biggest blowout so far has been the Bengals at the Panthers. Pharaoh annihilated.
Yeah, that was
Spike 61
surprising too. That was because Spivey, he's no walk in the park, but for Spivey, he's good when he's basically like when he's able to kind of scout you a little bit before, and he's able to get his game down pat. But I look at the stats; he had -1 rushing yards. I don't know who his running back is, but he have -1 rushing yards, only 71 passing yards. And mind you, he has Cam Newton at quarterback. A fun fact is he had more kick return yards than he had total yards. So 6 turnovers, no third down conversions, no fourth down conversions. Literally, he only stat he has is the field goal. So that was surprising.
Well, one of the games I want to talk about, the Bears at the Cardinals. This game sparked a lot of talk, specifically about the settings of users, and that'll happen later in the show. But I do want to say D has some type of chip on his shoulder that's just on fire right now, because he's starting to get his confidence back. When D first came in the Crew, D was, I wouldn't say necessarily a top user, but D was winning. And then he went into this little shadow of a hole, and now he's starting to win again. And Die went into the game and said that he was outplayed in every way possible. But I want to give more credit to D, because D threw him off on his game. D passed 5 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers, 2 interceptions, but he passed for 432 yards against what we know as, a good defense. A good defensive player, should I say. Matthew Stafford passed for 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 365 yards, so it was definitely a passing game. But it's fair to say that the Cardinals came out on top, still allowing 31 points or 51 points is a lot. It wasn't much of a run game really going on, and so that's no shock there. I'm more shocked that Die Hard didn't run the ball more. He only ran the ball 6 times. 5 with his running back and then 1 with Stafford. Whereas if D ran the ball 15 times with Dalvin Cook, 15 carries for 51 yards, 3.4 average, but 0 touchdowns rushing, and so definitely got to figure out if that will change over the week or will they remain a consistent passer. Field first game back.
What's the Bears' record for this season? The Bears.
I want to say Die Hard has to be like, he's the Bears, so he's 2-1. So he beat Yory. He got a force against the Seahawks user, who's a good user, and then he lost to D. But then he plays GY next, which can be a good game. And then he plays Reese, which I'm looking forward to because that has a rivalry in itself between the two. And so another game that shocked me kind of was Rick Dog beating Chris. Chris is one of them users that's, I know I would say he's a better user than Rick Dog, but a lot of the times users, and this is just every user in general, usually when you play somebody that's not on the same level as you or something like that, you often play down to them. But I also have to give Rick Dog credit because, he came in and he won the game. And at the end of the day, whether you're playing somebody better than you or whatever, he's doing his thing.
Brandon Cooks, that game had 134 yards, only on 3 catches, so he must have had something real long. It looked like they just played the field goal game for most of the game, but that might have been a game changer. Brandon Cooks, 134 yards, and he had a 52-yard catch for a touchdown, so that probably definitely changed the game.
It changed the game. Well, one thing that we were looking forward to coming into this draft is who would get Lamar Jackson. What user would get Lamar Jackson? How would they use him? How would it work out? And we finally seen that this week. Phil played the Denver Broncos. Lamar Jackson, first game out as a user game this season. Threw 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 130 passing yards. Only passed the ball 10 times, really. But I want to throw a little bit of critic at Phil, because Phil was one of the people who were out there saying, well, you run with the ball with Lamar too much. Well, first shout out to Herm. He ran the ball with Tyler Irvin, 15 carries for 116 rushing yards. Jay Ajayi, 16 carries for 48. And then there's Lamar Jackson with 4 carries for 26 rushing yards. Other than that, he has Devontae Freeman, only ran the ball twice. And then ran the ball with nobody else, really. And so my challenge for Phil is to find out how would you adjust your system for Lamar Jackson. I think with Lamar Jackson, often do we see people running with him all the time. But I know Phil's the type of person that likes to play realistic type football. And so if you only run the ball 5 times a game and 6 times a game, but 4 of the rushes are with Lamar, then you have to find some type of running game to balance it out. And then on top of that, you also play the good user. I think one of the more underrated users probably is Herm, because Herm is still running the ball. No matter who the running back is, he's still running the ball well. And so, he's played all different type of running backs.
I think, Herm by far the best runner. There's no question about it. His run game is crazy. I think Phil is stuck in that between system because I'm sure he's happy to have Lamar Jackson, but at the same time, he don't want to be called a cheese person. He want to always, like you said, make the game realistic. So I know it's no way you have Lamar Jackson, he has 3 or 4 carries a game. To me, that's unrealistic because that's Lamar Jackson. He need more carries than that. 94 speed. But I think Phil is stuck in that, and plus he got 2 receivers, 194 speed, 196 speed. So literally, and he got another receiver 96 speed. Literally, all he got to do is send the receivers up the field and just run and take off Lamar. So it's set up for him to run. His whole offense is fast. Literally, everyone on his offense is fast, every position. I think he's just stuck and want to be realistic at the same time, and it's going to hurt you. Lamar's not a person where you can just sit in a pocket and make throws all game, and that's what Phil does. If he's not running with his running back, he's just in a pocket, making these short passes, these medium passes. That's not a system for Lamar Jackson. You have to use his legs. That's literally his advantage. You have to use the legs. So as long as Phil's using him, Phil's going to try to, be balanced and everything like that, and it's not the best thing. And I just actually looked at Phil's team. Phil might have the best team. He might have the best team in the league. He has Lamar. He has Freeman at running back. Goodwin, Richardson at receiver, and he still got Jakeem Grant, 96 speed. 24-year-old tight end Gerald Everett, 85 speed at tight end. Von Miller, Jonathan Allen, and Kenny Clark. This whole D line is 90. He got Ryan Shazier, got Eric Kendricks, and he got Campbell, Devondre Campbell from the Falcons, and Tim Williams from the Ravens. So he bought Jimmy Smith and Denzel Ward at corner, 22-year-old slot corner. He has the best team. Literally have the best team.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, and one game I want to look at, one user I want to look at, the Atlanta Falcons. I think one thing that always excites me is these new users who come in. But I don't want to give him too early of a judgment, because I also know at the same time that there was a user named Airprone who came in first year smoking hot, and then he hit like a crash course, and now he's right in the middle of the road. But I think the Falcons possess something different, and take into account he hasn't really ran into a good crew user yet. He plays Pharaoh week 4. That'll be his first challenge, really. Now, he played the Eagles user, which, okay. He got a force against Spivey. He beats the Saints user. Week 4 will be the real challenge for him. But looking at him, he has a history of his users calling out ball hawk, this and that. And so against Pharaoh, you won't get that. You won't get the ball hawk. You won't get that type of call. So I'm interested in seeing that game. I wouldn't be shocked if that game is probably one of the game of the weeks. I want to see how good of a user the Falcons user can be against a good user. I have not to say Saints is a bad user, but I want to see a user that we know have a good track record. How can he do against a good user like that?
Yeah, we also, but before we end, I want to clear the air on the ball hawk and everything like that.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to talk about is the Falcons' stats. I think one thing for success always means stats. But he's not giving you exciting stats. Yes, he only played 2 games with users. But he's not giving you all these exciting top number 1 stats. Not saying he doesn't have a great team. He has 183 rushing yards through 3 games with Joe Mixon. He's definitely doing his thing with Martavis Bryant, who's a beast. But he doesn't have a clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. And so it'll be interesting to see how he can game plan with his offense, to put up points. Now defense, he got Bobby Wagner. Josh Jones, he has Bradley Roby, Landon Collins. Like, he can go on and on about his defense. He has the defense behind him.
I'm looking at it right now. He got, in 3 games, he has 8 sacks and 11 interceptions in 3 games. And he got 16 points already off defense alone. Dang. Oh, no, that's how points allowed. My bad. He only allows 16 points so far. That's great. He got to be number 1 and at least 11 interceptions in 3 games. That's crazy. But like you said, his offense, we got to really see where his offense is at, because I'm looking at it. He only have 2 passing touchdowns in 3 games. So
yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting to see against Pharaoh. Pharaoh's the type of user that's gonna, put you in these confused places. He's gonna send blitz at you. He's gonna send different type of things at you to throw you off your game. And the interesting part is to see if the Falcons can counteract that. Can he sit in the pocket and pass the ball when he needs to? If he got to run the ball against Pharaoh, can he do that? And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. More of the better users in the league, just from past experience, from what I've seen, are the type of users that don't have the number 1 in stats. More of the better users usually don't win MVP. They have such a mixed type of game that you won't see them putting up 5,000 yards passing or any of that. They just stick out in their own way.
Right. One of the, I would say one of those users, let me see, like you can, like it's a lot of them. I don't want to just point out one. There's a lot of users, but I wanted to say someone like Dez, but Dez, he's a stat stuffer. He like to get them MVPs and things of that sort. But in defense, you won't see him number 1. He'll be middle of the pack, like a 5, 6, or 7 or something like that. And that's usually, like you said, the people who win in the games and stuff like that, who really gonna make a run.
Yeah, I mean It runs its own type of course. And one of the games that I want to talk about next week is probably the Dolphins at the Patriots. Recent I won Rivalry of the Year, but this game has more than just that. I think if Reese wins this game, Reese will basically prove the dominance over the AFC East. And we want to make sure that like we give Reese his due respect too. A lot of people voted him for, decline user of the year. And he has a lot to prove than anything. Last league he went to the Super Bowl, did his thing, showed out, missed playoffs one time, and the last couple seasons for him and crew in general has been not as strong. Fox, we want to see you show up this week against the Cowboys. I want to see the Buccaneers at the Bears game. I want to see if Die Hard gonna let this one game throw him off. He came off last week game with a bunch of complaints, about what was going on in the game and this and that. Well, GY is a clean player, and so those excuses are out the window, but Die Hard does always, for some reason, have very good answers to all the questions that you ask him, whether why he's struggling or why he's doing this. He'll always just come off and say something like, it is what it is. We move on to the next game. He outplayed me. He don't really get in his feelings over losing. Once again, we do want to see the Bengals and the Falcons game. I do want to see Farrell versus him. There's a lot to prove to go on. D, I want to see you face this Seahawks user. I want to see D succeed, but I want him to have to go through the hardest ways to succeed. One thing about D is he just possesses this. I think he possesses a skill that's probably like just not there yet. But he's starting to win. He's starting to do his thing, and I'm proud of him. The troll game goes down. Browns versus Raiders. They are friends in the real world. They're the trollers of Crew 32. And so we'll finally see them two go at it. It will be a good game. I think so, because they probably know each other's game inside and out. And so don't be shocked if Randy actually puts up a fight. Dub 300, the Saints user versus the New York Giants. That actually can turn into a game that can be some sort of, you don't really know who's going to come out as a new user game. We definitely want to shout out the new users who are staying, and the new users are actually supporting everything that we throw out there, and we're gonna make sure we recognize you guys every time we can, and we definitely appreciate the support that you guys give us and everything.
Definitely.
49ers, yeah, we appreciate that. Honestly, Jay versus D-Mac. I don't really know what to say, but I know Jay has his favorite quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and I know Jay is showing out with 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he's definitely doing his thing right now. And you don't want Jay to get too comfortable. That's why I say, D, you gotta keep pace with Jay. It's gonna be interesting to see y'all two go at it. I can't wait till y'all two match up.
They all
The
in the
Ravens,
division, right?
yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
And Mo is in that division too, right?
Yeah, and Mo plays the Vikings user, which, we don't know what Rick gonna show up, and we don't know what Mo gonna show up. Mo actually has Tyreek Hill, and he said he's doing great, but he's not really using him like I thought he would. The Ravens and the Steelers.
I think Mo's attempting to use Tyreek Hill, because when I played him today in a different league, but you can tell all the plays he ran was plays for speed guys. Like, he ran plays for a team with speed, so I already know he's trying to adjust to the Tyreek Hill life. Somewhere now, I don't know how it's working for him, but because no one else on this team has speed. You got Larry Fitzgerald, Golden Tate, so he only has one speed receiver. It's literally one person on this team you gotta watch out for on offense. So the rest of his receivers, and I think even his running back is not. Yes, we got CJ Anderson at running back, so he literally have one person with speed on his team. So I think people just blanket in that one receiver, and you don't need too many people for Larry Fitzgerald and Golden Tate.
Yeah, I agree. But one thing about Mose, I was saying last podcast, is he needs to find him a Julio. Not necessarily a 99 wide receiver, but he needs a wide receiver that can go up and pull it down. And I think Golden Tate doesn't possess that. Mo game is built around a go and get it type wide receiver. And Tyreek Hill is nice and all that, but that's not his type of wide receiver. So I think when he learns that, then he'll be fine. Um, one of the next games is Phil versus Airpoon. I want to see that game. We already know
Yeah,
Pharaoh
that's one of the games of the week. I made that game of the week. I
Yeah,
definitely want to see that one.
and the Ravens. We already know that you guys is Pharaoh's in there. I want to see Phil versus Pharaoh. I want to see. I want to see Phil live up to this hype. You asked for this division. I want to see you. Airpoon. Phil called you guys out. I want to see you show up and show out. This next game, I think, is going to be one that I want to watch, which is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Broncos. We already seen what Big Herm can do with the Steelers. He's going to run the ball. No matter who you are, he's going to run the ball. Not saying he can't pass, because he'll pass when he has to pass, and that's what makes him a little bit different, is that a lot of people who spam run the ball, usually they can't pass the ball, but Big Herm can actually pass the ball when he wants to. We have a couple
when I played him, his run game was crazy, but when he had to pass, he's gonna pick up those 3rd and 8s on you, or 3rd and 10s, or 2nd and 7s.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna pick those up. You gotta get him, like, literally, when he
we so
gotta stop
used
him
to
in the
seeing.
backfield.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of users, and not throwing anybody under the bus, but I've seen users like Fox who can run the ball, but they're so one-dimensional. You know they're not passing the ball. They can't pass the ball. It's impossible. And so it'll be interesting in seeing that. The last thing we definitely want to talk about is these settings. I guess I'll start off before the commissioner speaks. Is it has to become a little bit annoying and disrespectful that these settings are being thrown around now. Now everybody wants to talk about the settings. Everybody wants to talk about, this person might have ball hawk on, this person might have that on. If you're a legit player, and not saying, because some legit players play with ball hawk on, okay. But if you're a legit player, I would feel a little bit disrespected if I'm told that my user is all ball hawk, or all, that's like saying you cheating to win the game. And I've noticed that in the last 2 weeks in crew of advancing in this new league, that ball hawk has been the #1 thing ever since we talked about it on the podcast. Because that was the main thing we talked about, was ball hawk and stuff like that. Now everybody just throwing it around and stuff like that. Ball hawk doesn't mean that your guy's going to jump to the ball, or your guy's going to do certain super things. It just means that your guy probably, 9 times out of 10, can hold triangle longer and he'll catch the ball.
Right. And that's what I told everyone, and that's the real reason why from now on I just said, you know what, if there's no one I have to take it off. If it's on, then it's on, because you got people like Die Hard, like literally he's about to play D. D been in the league longer than Die Hard, but you have users like Die Hard who said, alright, I'm loading up, please show your settings. Like, D haven't had ball hawk on for like 2 Maddens already, and you make him show settings, just so you can feel better about the game. So stuff like that, like it does, like if someone say, Ben, let me see a setting, like I'm gonna feel disrespected because I don't use ball hawk, but the fact that you want to see obviously means that you think I'm using ball hawk.
You assume I use ball hawk, and that's why I felt like the setting things were taken away, because I felt like people, that was like babysitting. It's the same thing as the trades thing, it was so much trade talk the first couple of weeks. Oh, I can't do this, can't do that. Now everybody just died. It's like died down now. Now everybody over. Now it's past it. Nobody talk about trades now.
Because I had to put a cap on it now, because if I didn't put that cap on it now, we would have had so many people on different teams, and for no reason. Like, we had a trade, literally, and I'm not saying it was a bad or good trade, but we had a trade, 84 running back over a running back for 83 over a running back. Literally, just like that. The one dude wanted him because he was faster, the other dude wanted him because he was stronger. Like, trades like that, it means nothing. Like, it literally means, it may be better in your system, but then we had one dude who wanted a quarterback because it was his favorite quarterback. So he was willing to send his quarterback now and a first-round pick. Trades like that, it's not good for the league. It looks bad. Like, we all have favorite teams. We all got favorite players. And people know, I'm looking at the sliders now. All the sliders is under 200. Only sliders that's above 200 is fullback and kicker. It's the only one. everything is at 175. So I already noticed myself. I'm doing training, and to this week right here was the first week Joey Bosa got an attribute upgrade. So
that's how it's supposed to be. You should have 99 overall players up and down your roster, within 3 or 4 seasons, maybe more. Maybe, but you should never have a full 99 roster. It's just unrealistic. And it all goes into just the sliders. And I hope people. That's one less thing people can complain about is roster and this and that. And that's why I keep telling people over and over. The advantage about the fantasy league is that you have to draft. If you miss the draft, I promise you your team is going to be a year behind. The free agency ain't going to help because there's not going to be that many free agents. Trades will help, but it's only certain limits. Yeah, only certain limits. And so, this is more of a try, to see how good people are drafting. There were a lot of people good at drafting. You had Yuri, and there are a couple good people in the league that I know for sure can draft. And I know they'll show up and show out. But I do want to answer this question because this is going to be our first pre-recorded podcast. We do want, reviews. One of the things about the live podcast is sometimes there could be so much going on and so many things going down at once. And we feel like with a pre-recorded podcast that we can, run down the topics, tell you what topic, when is this topic happening, all the topics laid out. And so give us your reviews, maybe not necessarily in the chat. I won't spam the chat with it, but definitely want guys to start tuning in. We want people to start coming in on the podcast doing things. We're going to start doing interviews one-on-one and just posting to our YouTube. It's not going to be something that's so deep, something that's important, something that's so hard to do. We just want people to start supporting the podcast, as we try to elevate the level of the podcast higher and higher. And so definitely give us your reviews on how things go and how you feel about it.
Definitely let us know.
Easy podcast is not about everything, but it's just a little bit of run through.
Let us know if we missed something or y'all feel like we should talk about something more or whatever. Just let us know so we can add it or take it out and we can do what everybody likes.
Yeah.